you go.
Try not to hit it too hard. I was being phone sensitive.
Nice. All right, test your mic out, please.
Testing. There is clicking sound in my ear.
Oh my God. Keep going. Test it.
I can't focus with the clicking sound in my ear. But it's not there
It
anymore.
might be too loud after we turn down recording volume.
Woo!
Is it too gravelly? Too gravelly?
It's very loud.
Can you hear both of us?
I did. I heard you say keep going, keep going.
All right, test it out for me now, please.
Check 1, 2.
That's all you're going to give me? Thanks. I swear it is your mic is the only one that is picking any of us up, but whatever. No. Yeah,
No, I don't hear that.
I can hear it in mine, but that doesn't mean it's going to...
Yeah, that's
You
good.
hear that?
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
I heard you fine on that when you said, I swear it's your mic.
Yeah, because I think I'm screaming, which is why I started talking louder. I don't know if you realize that, but...
Talk normal.
Talk normal.
Oh, that's right, you're not normal.
Easy for you to say. You have the working mic. All right. There's so much to cover and not enough time, so we're gonna have
There's
some fun
not
with
too
this one.
much to
Oh,
cover.
there's a lot to cover. You don't pay attention to enough sports.
I do.
I just realized that.
I watch a lot of sports. I got sports notes, but we don't have to dwell on any one thing.
Right.
You can't chase a rabbit hole about how bad the refs suck in the Eagles game.
Yeah.
That you could lose an hour on that.
Fair. All right.
Words of wisdom from a wise guy.
It's not. You know what? Never mind. I got nothing.
You have nothing.
Oh shoot! I forgot one thing. Hold on before we get started. That way I don't forget. And you too. You're like Ron Burgundy. You want to read what I have on the notes?
I'm reviewing, seeing what information I have. I have little tidbits of things.
Yeah, but I meant like also like sign offs and stuff like that. Like if I don't have anything there, like you're
You
Ron
have to say
Burgundy
sign off.
and I'm Ron Burgundy.
Signing off.
San Diego. All right, let's get rolling here. Hello, welcome back to episode 8 of 8 Outside the Coach's Box. Happy Monday, November 27th. And I guess Merry Christmas for a lot of people. I'm Nick, and once again I have my co-host extraordinaire, Big D, with me to give us a little bit of the weekend in review, a little Thanksgiving, talk about the impact of those games on the NFL and today's games impact on the NFL, or Sunday's games, I should say, as well as other sports action. So yeah, Merry Christmas, right? That's what we're in right now.
I was going to ask you, why are you saying Merry Christmas?
Yeah, because it's Christmas time, right? I think that's how the calendar goes, right? Like everything after Halloween is Christmas.
Don't be one of those.
I'm just saying. What
Don't
do you mean?
be one of those
what?
people.
Don't be one of what?
One of those people who just wants to rush to Christmas. I mean, it's even before Halloween now.
That is true. Yeah.
Don't do it.
I know.
I hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of November. We'll talk to you in December too.
Well, technically speaking, this is our second episode after Thanksgiving, and it'll be our only episode before December starts, because December is what, this Wednesday already, or Thursday? Is that it? So we're December 2nd, right? Coming in?
Yep. So we will not have one. By the end of the week will be our first December one.
Yeah.
Sunday. Yeah.
So it's crazy how time's flown. But no, I just threw that in there because I knew it would bother you.
Yeah.
And typically it wouldn't bother me as well, but someone needs to be the instigator here. And I chose today. That was me. I woke up and I chose violence, especially after the weekend I had for picks, which was not good.
Speak for yourself.
We'll talk about that later. Well, that's why I said the weekend I had with picks. And of course, as everybody knows by now, we record Sundays before Sunday Night Football, so we won't get, or during Sunday Night Football, I should say, so we won't be able to cover too much about it, although you will probably hear some reactions as we do have it playing as we're recording. But we just got off of an awful game for us, being Cowboy fans. I'm sure a great game for your any Philly fans that listen to us, or I mean, I don't.
The occupiers of my current penthouse.
Yeah, I can't imagine there are many people who root for the Eagles outside of Philly or outside of being an Eagles fan.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of hatred that carries beyond the Delaware River and over the bridges, so to speak. So if you're not South Jersey or Philadelphia, I agree. I would agree with you. Outside of that immediate geographical area, there's probably not, I don't think their fandom carries.
Although we do know one like anomaly.
Who's that?
Zoe Pirro, and I think her father. I think they're Philadelphia Phillies fans for baseball.
Yeah.
But yet they're Cowboy. At least I know Zoe's a Cowboys fan. I don't know exactly what Mike is. Yeah.
I don't know either. I don't know.
But like, unless you have family, which again we know people that do have family members on the Eagle, like, well, you do more so than me. I know people on the Eagles. Like William knows Pete Davidson. I don't know if you know this. So your nephew, my cousin, he told me the other day that he knows Pete Davidson because I think Riley met him once. So I said, by that logic, I know Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Like, and the way he said it is like we're good buddies. Like me and Pete Davidson are good friends. I'm like, oh, cool. So me and Michael Jordan are best friends. Like that's how I'm painting it. So on that, based on that theory alone, I know people on the Eagles. I know Jason Kelsey. That's how I'm going to phrase it.
I know Rick Lovato.
There you go. That? Yeah. But by that theory, Williams theory, you know Jason Kelsey. You know Jalen Hurts too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
man, Hurtsy.
But yeah, no, we're not fans. But I know, again, unless your family or actually in like the 5 to 10 mile radius that is the Philadelphia area, and probably be a little bit beyond it. But we'll say 25. You're probably not too happy with the results of today's
no
425 game.
Yet again, the Eagles find a way to pick it out of the basket of the grips of defeat, which is what good teams do, great teams do. I mean, I hesitate to call them great, but they're doing what they need to put themselves in that position.
Are they getting themselves out of trouble, or are the refs bailing them out? I gotta ask.
And I told you this was a rabbit hole.
Yeah, we're not getting too much into it because we can talk about refs, and their calls all day. But I'm gonna highlight two in specific. One, the horse collar tackle that they missed on Josh Allen, that they call intentional grounding.
Blatant.
And then two, the blatant pass interference in overtime on Stephon Diggs. Like,
yeah.
I get letting it go. I'm not all for calling, right? But like,
I don't see how the horse collar was missed, because if you have a referee,
pass interference was missed.
There's a ref that's always watching the quarterback, right? Because they're the NFL's most precious commodity. And not only was it a horse collar front, horse collar back, I mean, he had enough horses there to pull a carriage. It should have been a flag.
Yeah, no, it's atrocious. I kind of like these Chargers unis, by the way. Now that we're watching it,
yeah, they're nice.
Which actually is a good segue. The Eagles, not to focus too much on the game. Whatever.
Eagles won.
Good for you. Eagles,
10-1.
Whatever. Which, by the way, I do want to say for anybody that says the Cowboys haven't beaten anybody because the teams they haven't faced are over 500. Eagles can't use this as a good victory. Bills are now 6-6.
Yeah.
Throw it out. I'll give them Chiefs, Cowboys. Good for you guys. Can't use Bills. But no, I want to focus, and I brought this to you. You're like, why are we talking about jerseys? I'm a big jersey guy. I love jerseys. You know this, obviously being my father, but like, I love jerseys. I always have as a kid. I have a wide collection of Dallas Cowboy jerseys now. I used to be a big, basketball jersey collector, which to some moderate degree I still am. I still hold on to some pretty cool ones that I have, on my possession. I'd like to get those framed one day and signed, especially by some people I know. But like, and then some people I really know. Again, going off of Williams thing, but the jerseys in the NFL this weekend, dating back to Thanksgiving Thursday, I feel like they got to get more props than they do. Everybody went crazy earlier in the season and rightfully so. The Oilers jerseys are really, real nice. Like, yeah. I have a football rule where I don't get jerseys outside the Cowboys because the Cowboys are my number one team. If I had to pick a singular sports team to root for the rest of my life, it would be the Dallas Cowboys. so I don't venture out there since I know when I was a kid I had like a Ricky Williams, Priest Holmes, like
You had everybody and their mother.
yeah, some obscure
Anybody who
ones,
wore a
but,
jersey.
but when I became more aware of like my fandom, and that was like when I was like 8 years old, you don't know what a Hail Mary is, right? But like you learn, and then like my fandom became solid as a Dallas Cowboy fan. From there, I just like no, I can't wear any other jersey. It's got to be Cowboys. Got to own Dallas Cowboy jersey. But I want to focus on like, and this isn't a true ranking, but again, like I said, they got to get more respect. Everybody talks about the Eagles Kelly Greens as being one of the best. I think the Dallas Cowboy Thanksgiving jerseys are just awesome. Like if I had to pick one jersey for the Cowboys to wear for all season, it would be those. I mean, there's nothing like the blue with the white like kind of lettering, or not white lettering, but the white top shoulders and like the blue lettering with the stars on the. Those are so much cooler than, and I get tradition like the white jerseys that we wear like all the time, but there's nothing about those jerseys that say Cowboys on them. There's no star, and there's only a star on the helmet, which again, tradition, like that's like the Cowboy way, right? Like the Yankee ways, there's no like name on the back of the jersey. That's the Cowboy way. But man, I just wish we could wear those more because they are slick. And then like again, I want to focus on other jerseys too because obviously I'm biased here. But like I said, the one the Chargers are wearing tonight are pretty cool. Like the navy blue with the like lightning bolt outline. What should we call it? The Saints all whites are pretty cool. They remind me of and this will be for like more of the '90s kids, but like the White Rangers, like when he first came back after being the Green Ranger, Tommy, like that's what they remind me of. They're pretty cool.
Power Ranger.
Exactly. Yeah. And then the Cardinals, like.
The black one.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those, but you got to give shout out to like the alternate jerseys. They are cool when done right. So I do want to give props to.
I do like these Charger uniforms a lot better than the powder blue ones that they wear at times. Like their old powder blue throwbacks.
I feel like the powder blue for the Chargers have been outplayed. Like they were really cool when LaDainian Tomlinson played for them.
Yeah.
But now just kind of like okay, and it basically is their jersey the whole time, but. I don't know. I know I kind of monopolied. I know I monopolied. I had more gaps on this podcast than I think speaking for 30 years. But I'm sure that's not true. But I don't know. Do you have a jersey that you particularly like in the NFL? Doesn't have to be the Cowboys one, although.
No, well, listen. The throwback Oiler one that you mentioned was. Or the Tennessee Titan, but it was the old Oiler uniform, the Earl Campbell one that you see him getting shredded when 7 or 8 Rams are hanging off of him. That was classy and very notable. But I mean, it'd be obvious for me to say Cowboys because I too am biased. But there was outside of the Charger uniforms that we're looking at now, there was nothing that really jumped out at me. That's really cool.
The Kelly Greens, the Eagles Kelly Greens get so much props, and I get it. I guess for
that should be a flag. No,
and apparently it's not.
Good Lord, guy just took Herbert's head off.
Jeez. Yeah. No, but the Kelly Greens get a lot of props.
Now there's a
flag. Two flags. But like I was saying, the Kelly Greens get a lot of props, and I guess for an Eagles fan, I like it better than the ones that they do have, like the forest green or whatever you want to call that. But no, the Cowboys take it for me. There have been some bad ones though in the past. Remember the Jets, was it the Jets?
When they're like the Titan.
Yeah, that was
the old Steeler one.
The Packers, the blue and brown, whatever that was.
Yeah, or the old Steeler one where it's the bumblebee.
Yeah, it was that one, and then they had one that was like the vertical, like black and yellow.
The prison stripes.
Yeah, the prison. It was weird. We can go on. I can at least speak for jerseys all day. But let's talk about more NFL notes from the week. I don't think we gave. I don't remember talking a whole lot about the Jets on Friday. So I don't know if you want to talk more about them. I just have one note on them, and it's. They didn't look any different. I do have, actually, that's not true. I have one correction. I called Tim Boyle. I actually called him Tom or Tim. I didn't know his name. I called him an undrafted free agent, which I was kind of right.
Clearly out of bounds.
He's, he was well out of bounds. There's some bad calls this week. But no, so Tim Boyle, he's a 5-year journeyman. He was an undrafted free agent by the Packers 5 years ago, obviously. But yeah, no, he's not a rookie, so that was my bad. But he didn't make that offense look any better than Zach Wilson did.
I think that was a theme that we talked about a little earlier today. That it's not, in certain cases, not about the quarterback. Certainly for the Jets, we've talked about the weakness in the offensive line before, and no matter who you put back there, if they don't have time to throw it, they're going to get killed. And it's hard to, as I'll steal this one from Uncle O, it's hard to, as any quarterback, to complete a pass when you're lying on your back, right? So it's not the quarterbacks in New York. It's certainly not the quarterbacks in New England, Mac Jones or Zappy. There's flawed systems there. Or something's not happening, components around the quarterback that's not making the engine go.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a little bit, because we have a few quarterbacks today, right? We talked about like you just mentioned, the Patriots quarterback system. Like, they were a 10-win team under Mac Jones and a playoff team his rookie year, and now they can't find their way without, ironically enough, Josh McDaniels, calling the offense, right? And I don't know. I mean, Bill Belichick's supposed to be the smart guy, but he didn't really set him up for success in year 2 when he had Matt Patricia and Joe Judge, who are 2 failed head coaches, take the offensive reins.
And 2 defensive-minded people, are they not?
Yes, yeah.
Patricia for sure.
Yeah, no, both of them. And then, is it Bill O'Brien who's back this year?
Yes.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien's back this year, who's supposed to be, I think, was on the Bama coaching staff when Mac Jones was there. So I don't know what it is, and maybe it's at this point, like, year 2 was so detrimental to him, and like, not only is his confidence shot because he replaced him with Bailey Zappi, who came in and did well, but not well enough to hold on to the job. And I don't know what it is, but maybe the Patriot way is just dead. And we've kind of hammered that over the last 2 podcasts, so we don't really need to go over it unless you want to, I guess. But
no, I think anybody who, again, it comes. I don't think Bill Belichick's been making the right decisions, because if you're in any position and you're constantly looking over your shoulder for the moment. I mean, think about some of the girls that we've coached in the past. We never took people out because they made a mistake.
Yeah.
Right. Because now they come over to the bench and their heads down and they're on the bench and they're thinking about that mistake and not listening to the coaching of how to get around that or how to get to the next sequence kind of thing. Belichick, the moment Mac Jones makes a mistake, he's out. So what's he going to be? He's going to be a shadow of himself if he ever goes back in, right?
Yeah. No, it'll be interesting what they did too, because obviously they lost to the Giants today, which, again, I say this because I just don't know. Like, I think it's actually a good loss for the Patriots, right? Because if they're going to reset, if they're going to get rid of Belichick, then like, you want to be closer to that top spot. 1, possibly get Caleb Williams. 2, we've seen what those top picks can get you in draft haul. Like the Texans, who lost a competitive game to the Jaguars today, still are much better, are much further along than, the Patriots, Jets, whomever, because they traded some top picks, or they traded players for some top assets. They had, I think, 2 top 5 picks last year, and both of them were on display today. CJ Stroud, and we're going to keep on saying it, is that dude. He showed up for another 300-plus yards, 2 passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown. And then Willie Anderson, who's on the defensive side, was all over the place on there. I mean, he stuffed Travis Etienne at least 10 times, or was the first person back there to touch him at least 10 times combined between the first person to stop him or touch him behind the line of scrimmage, that either extended him out or resulted in a loss of yards. Because I'm telling you, that's a good start. So again, I just don't know if it's a good win for the Giants. Like, I get it. This story is cool. Like, yeah, Tommy DeVito, like, everybody's doing the wrist flick thing, and like, the Don Bosco connection, and they focus a little bit on him and Jabril Peppers, who went to Paramus Catholic. So like, they've had their paths have crossed in the state of New Jersey before. So that was cool. But
the problem with the relying on the draft, there's no guarantee. We went over a little bit of this when your uncle was here. The number 1 picks that have gone bad kind of thing, and even those who have traded out of the number 1 pick to stockpile picks, you still have to make the right picks in order to benefit from them.
Right, and when again, while Lutu and Ryan was here, like, maybe they don't have those people in place now. But if you get the right person in place, you can turn that draft haul into, I mean, look what again, we're Cowboys fans, so it's hard not to focus on them. Look what they've done with 4th round picks or 5th round picks and Darren Bland. Like,
look what they did with the Herschel Walker trade.
Because
they got a ton of draft picks from there, and every one of them I think was a good pick.
Right, and it led to Super Bowls and Hall of Famers. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, so in order to be in that position, though, you need to be in that position. And again, no team no professional is going to go out there and throw a game. And I completely understand that. But as a fan base, you kind of got to be a little disappointed that you won this game against a team where if you if you lost to them, you would have been, I think, the number 2 or 3 pick. Now you're sliding off to like 5, 6, 7 range, and anything.
The only way that benefits the Giants is if they did sign Daniel Jones to a long-term contract. So if they believe he's their guy and they can build around him.
Yeah. He's not the guy for them.
No.
I don't. And it's because they're just so broken from every position. They're just so broken. Offensive line, again, Andrew Thomas is good, but Evan Neal is supposed to be this guy and he's not.
Yeah.
Pugh, who was with the Cardinals and came back, like he's an old guy, so who knows how long he's going to be there for. They're in a tough, very bad situation. And again, I keep on saying as Cowboy fans, it's almost not fun picking on them, but at the same time it is. So, but no.
At the same time, again, this goes down the system. They have a very good running back who is healthy and has been running well. He carried the ball 12 times today for 46 yards. You're not using him. He's the kind of guy that grinds you down throughout the game and then has those explosive, like old Ezekiel Elliott used to do. You know?
Did he score today, by the way? Saquon Barkley?
No.
So the stat that I threw before the game was part of like the notes was like feed him the ball, and the reason why was because they were 3-0 when Saquon has scored and 0-8 when he hasn't. And they finally won a game without him scoring, so that's good. Yeah. But no, you mentioned systems, and we've talked about quarterbacks in the past. I wanted to touch upon the Steelers game because there's some fun notes coming from them. So one, under Matt Canada, I think his name's Matt, the Steelers offense in particular, Kenny Pickett did not have a game throwing more than 115 yards, full game. Today in the first half, he threw for 157 yards. And today, the Steelers went over 400 yards of total offense. In 58 games with Canada, they had 0 such games.
Yeah.
0 such games. So again, like we talked about it, boo Canada, the person, not the same.
Careful, we just lost all those listeners north of the border.
No new listeners. No, but like the fun aspect was again, maybe the systems are broken in some areas. So maybe Hackett's not the guy to lead the Jets, and obviously they're going to give him another year because Aaron Rodgers is there. Who, by the way, did you see needs a doctor's note to practice? He might practice this week, but needs a doctor's note.
I didn't see that, but I did see some guy, and I forget his name, a more popular sports prognosticator kind of guy who.
I'm not popular enough, you're saying?
In Indianapolis. I think he writes for Indianapolis, the paper there.
I thought maybe you were like trolling my Twitter or something like
that. No, funny guy. But he was saying how Aaron Rodgers is faking this. He didn't tear his Achilles.
Bullshit.
He's saying he didn't tear. He can't be healing that quickly. He didn't tear his Achilles. And so he's like, here come the conspiracy theories.
I do love that theory, though, actually. Now that I think about it, and being an Aaron Rodgers, like self-proclaimed Aaron Rodgers hater, not because of like he's a bad quarterback, but because he has royally screwed over the Dallas Cowboys multiple occasions.
I know Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, you went to the same high school, so you know Aaron Rodgers. That's true. William, you listen to this, by the way. Why are you listening? No, I'm kidding. But it's all love, man. We're not making fun of you. But no, it is funny that theory is out there because I'll subscribe to it. No. I'll be like, yeah, he's faking it. If he comes back this year and like starts slinging around, but yeah, he faked it. He just wanted to see where like Zach Wilson was at and remind the Jets like, you still need me. So maybe they'll like go all out and get Devontae Adams which I think they plan on doing anyway. But now like he has him by the like proverbial balls essentially. Like you need me more than you think you do.
So AP faked his knee because he came back in unprecedented time to play again. That's basically what this guy's basing. Is the foundation for his argument is that Rodgers is up.
That's a stretch for you, man. That's a stretch. It's not a stretch to believe that Aaron Rodgers faked this. It is a stretch to say what you just said. That's just rude. That's wrong. That's wrong.
What are you gonna do? Take a switch to me? Like AP's kids.
It would actually be the other way around since I'm your child, but. No, yeah, that's interesting. We were on the Steelers. Anything else they got on the Steelers other than the fact that they won?
No.
Divisional game.
Listen, for Uncle Mark out west, I'm happy that they're winning and somehow putting together a really good season. That just when you think Mike Tomlin's out of the game or Pittsburgh might finally move on, he does something great like this.
I will say this: I do think the Steelers have been. What's the right word I'm looking for? They have been extremely helped by the fact that the Browns decided to go into the season with a quarterback that I don't think is a trustworthy quarterback. And then the Bengals obviously losing Joe Burrow. I don't think.
Yeah, but even before Burrow going out, the Steelers only had 3 losses.
Right, but they play a lot of their AFC North games down the stretch.
Yeah.
So I don't think they win today's game.
Play your schedule.
Yeah, no, they do
win the games.
They do 100%. But that schedule looks a whole lot different if the Browns actually have a,
Who? Deshaun Watson.
No. That's what my first note was: an untrustworthy quarterback.
Yeah, they're horrible.
We
talked about this last time.
Like I said, you don't listen.
Decision.
I listen to you. You don't listen. It's fine.
I got the headphones on.
Apparently, they don't work. So they went into it with an untrustworthy quarterback. So if they fix that problem, which I don't know exactly how they would have, maybe holding on to Josh Dobbs, who they had, right?
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, if they don't have Deshaun Watson or at least a viable quarterback other than PJ Walker and the guy that just got lit up legally, by the way,
that was another horrible call today.
Then maybe they actually do better than lose to the Broncos today, who are actually turning things around. So good for Russell Wilson, I guess, and Sean Payton.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if Burrow doesn't get hurt, again, these are big ifs, right? Like, if the queen had balls, she'd be the king type of situation. Yeah. Like, shit happens. I think the next game I have in my notes is the Chiefs. And I have a theory on the Chiefs. I'm still fleshing out how I want to do, or flushing out, I should say, how I want to do the segment I want to bring up. It's going to be rule number 1 based off of your rule number 1. Coach is always right.
Yeah.
Which I still stand by. Rule 1 is flawed. But
no, it's not.
Your rule 1. I don't know if this would qualify, but if so, I'm going to use it as my rule number 1 about me always being right, and it's going to be about the Chiefs. I think we can start comparing the Chiefs to the LeBron era Heat. The fact that every year in and year out, after they won the championship a few times, everyone was saying, "Oh, they had that on-off switch. That they looked lethargic during the regular season. That they were disinterested. Yada yada yada." Like, but when push came to shove during the playoffs, they were that team, right? Mm-hmm. So I think the Chiefs are kind of bored at this point. So this is my rule number 1 hot take type of thing. I think they're kind of bored, especially players that have been like Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, not Andy Reid, obviously. I don't think coaches get bored.
No.
But when you're playing the game and you're like, we've been here, we know we're getting to the playoffs. It doesn't matter if we play in Buffalo, Kansas City, Miami, wherever, we're going to win the game and get to the Super Bowl. I think they have that mentality, which is a good mentality to have. It doesn't matter where we are going to win. But I think that's causing some of the issues that they've had so far in the year. Even early on in today's game against the Raiders, they look disinterested is the best word. They're kind of like, yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll get there. We'll flip the switch on. When we need to, we'll flip the switch on.
Yeah, I can see some of that. And I don't know if it's getting bored or maybe they're trying different things to see what will work.
They don't have the same pieces. Obviously, Tyreek Hill
right.
was out.
I remember going back to Peyton Manning's Colts when they were just getting crushed by the run game every week. People were racking up 250, 300 rushing yards against them. And then come the Super Bowl, that defense was like lights out.
Yeah.
So,
but that's...
There could be some of that.
Right. The only difference is that football, you don't have that many games. You don't have 82 games, right? So a disinterested week could be catastrophic to you.
Yeah.
Losing to the Raiders today would have been catastrophic for the Chiefs.
Sure.
Which is why I think they turned on that on switch, right? We can't lose this game, right? So maybe if the Bills had that on off switch, they would have lost the Eagles
as a Chief, you can't also not lose to the Raiders, period, no matter what the records are.
Right.
That's the rivalry.
No, it's a rivalry game, which again, but they look disinterested even in a rivalry game. Yeah. That's what, early on. And again, I don't know if it's, but that's going to be my thing. I think they're the LeBron era Heat right now. They've won 2 championships. They're bored of the regular season. Come playoff time, everybody's going to be like, Oh boy, this Chiefs offense is real good.
How many championships did the LeBron era Heat win?
I think only 2, which is crazy. Which is crazy that they're remembered like that.
I don't remember them that way.
Well, of course you don't. But
Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. You should have stopped.
well, he was right.
Should have stopped.
He didn't get 3. He didn't get 4.
Yeah.
He was wrong on the 2. And the last thing I want to talk about, actually, there's 2 things I want to talk about for NFL before we move on, and we'll go over our picks and review.
Okay.
Is first off, I'm going to talk about your boy, Trevor Lawrence.
T-Law. Go ahead, talk about it.
No. It's not good.
Okay.
It's not good.
Why am I not surprised?
Jokingly or not, this was the quote after the game for him. I want teams, this is verbatim by the way, I want teams in our division to be as bad as possible. I prefer if you guys in our division didn't have good QBs, it would be better for us. I think it was intended as a joke.
Yeah.
I read it, I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
But that's even the theory is that there's always like a slight hint of truth to every joke. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that Trevor Lawrence will never win a Super Bowl for that attitude.
Oh,
right
stop.
there.
I don't think it's a reflection
Overrated.
of attitude. I
Overrated.
think it's like a backhanded compliment in
Yeah.
a way. I definitely get a sense of him being facetious in there. But T-Law threw for 364 yards, a passing touchdown, and a rushing touchdown today.
Did he throw a pick today?
He won.
Did he throw a pick today?
Did he win?
Did he throw a pick
Did
today?
he win? Didn't you pick the Texans?
I'm asking.
You play
I'm asking
to win
hold on.
game.
I'm asking. Did he throw a pick today?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay. And how many touchdowns did he throw?
did Jalen Hurts throw a pick today?
How many touchdowns did he
Did
throw?
Jalen Hurts throw a pick today?
You're directing.
Did he?
You're misdirecting the question. How many picks did he? Or how many touchdowns did he throw today?
1 passing, 1 rushing.
Okay. So he's still like 3 behind Justin Fields, who plays tomorrow night. By the way, I just want to throw that out
to
there.
win the game.
By the way, the rest of the quote goes: "CJ is playing lights out. It is going to be fun for years to come."
Okay.
But, like,
so there's the acknowledgement. You know, stop.
Throw out there.
I thought we weren't doing politics here. That was a half truth, and then that's all politics right there.
Yeah, of course. But like, I am again a self-proclaimed. If I am anything else, I am a true to my stances. I am an honest person, and I am going to tell you that I am completely a Trevor Lawrence hater, only because you love him so
Because
much
I know Trevor
for no
Lawrence.
reason.
I know Trevor Lawrence.
Do you actually have a connection to Trevor Lawrence?
One of my
standard?
senior leaders in my company is from Cartersville, Georgia.
Okay.
His son played football with Trevor
Yeah,
Lawrence.
you know Trevor Lawrence.
And Trevor's been at Jeff's house.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
I know Trevor
You know
Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. There you go. That is a great standard. And then the last thing in the NFL I want to talk about is the fines. Amon-Ra St. Brown was fined $43,000, and if you haven't seen the block yet, I'm imploring you, not just you, but like our listeners, to go look at it. This block was like just an average block, but it was like blindside, and he got fined $43,000 for it. That's ridiculous.
When do we start finding officials for their blind side?
Well, I was gonna
Because there were plenty today.
I was gonna bring up that, and then I was gonna say it's almost like, and again, it's not a law enforcement. I mean, it kind of is a law enforcing entity, but it's not like from the standpoint I'm about to say. But it's almost double jeopardy that these guys are getting hit with. You get penalized in the game, which I don't think he actually did, but for some of them they do, like Kareem Jackson for the Broncos, and maybe he deserved it because he continuously goes like headhunting, but. You'll get penalized in the game for it, and then you'll get fined on top of it. So it's like you've already been punished for it, and then you're going to get punished again to the degree where some of these guys, $43,000, some of these guys game checks. Like, I understand, scaling it maybe. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think he came out with a tweet like 5% of my check or 5% of my salary or whatever, which that's a lot. Maybe again. Not a lot for a millionaire athlete, but it's still a lot. Like, he has, a family to feed and everything. Like, the fact that the NFL and Goodell, who I have always said is just such a clown, thinks that this is okay to fine players that amount of money is just ridiculous.
Yeah. I find the inconsistency is something that always bothers me. Across any playing field, any foundation, any company, if you don't have a consistent set of rules or consistent pattern of behavior, then how do you expect the people that work for you, that play for you, that whatever, to be consistent in their effort, right?
Right.
And the NFL is just, it seems so arbitrary at times, the punishments and the fines that they hand out. I mean, go back to when Ray Rice was originally suspended for 2 games. you had the man on videotape,
Yeah.
clocking his fiance or wife at the time. I mean,
Well, they handled that again. Going back to Roger Goodell being a clown, he like had that film but buried it, and then
Yeah.
it came out later. Like again, they have to your point, they have picked and choose how they want to.
yeah, and then they turn
certain
around
things.
and they suspend Zeke for 4 games
Yeah.
for walking into a pot store, which
Well, among other things, he had like the investigation, which there was not enough. Again, we're not going to get it too much in the NFL and their hypocrisy, but there wasn't a whole lot on Zeke. They ended up suspending him. Of course, he had the whole St. Patrick's Day thing, which I think was with his girlfriend at the time. I mean, it's still whatever. It's
the
bad,
point is it's just
it's bad
inconsistent.
optics.
It's
Yeah.
inconsistent. The
100%.
same with this fine that Amon-Ra St. Brown got.
Tyreek Hill, by the way, who's never been suspended, has had multiple and
Yeah.
bad like image, we'll call them image infractions against him. But yeah, everybody treats him. He's gonna be like the first 2,000-yard receiver, and the NFL is gonna trounce him out there as like ooh, look at me type of guy. So
And then somebody like Deshaun Watson, who had 23 people, women.
I think it
And
might be more than that. I think it might have been closer to
somehow,
50.
an organization
That's not
within the
funny.
NFL is allowed to pay him $280 million
Yeah.
guaranteed.
Yeah.
You know, that just doesn't make any sense. But
Yeah, well, again, it's because like nobody brought we do say innocent until proven guilty, right? Like nobody brought a case against him, I think, or dropped it.
it's been bought.
Yeah, it's not great optics either way.
Yeah.
So, hey man, it is what it is in the NFL. Unfortunately, I mean, you and I are sitting here talking about it. We're going to continue to talk about it. We're going to continue to watch it because it is the
Now it's
greatest
part of what we
sport
do.
in America. Yeah, it is a part of what we do, but it's also the greatest sport in America, in my opinion.
It is.
And so they're what I always say about Verizon and like their customer service. They're the Verizon of sports. Like they don't care how they come off. They're just going to keep on doing their thing. Obviously, they care a little bit because we just talked about suspensions, but they're just going to keep it as status quo. Like, fine, we'll hit the guys that make us look too bad, put egg on our face, but ultimately, like whatever we decide to go.
Now they're
yeah.
multi-hundred-billion-dollar.
Yeah, I mean TV rights
Enterprise.
with YouTube TV buying Sunday Ticket, Fox, CBS, ESPN, Prime Video, like
Yeah.
they're not going anywhere anytime soon. So let's get into picks.
Yeah. Let's do that.
You had a great weekend.
I did.
4-0. That's it. Not only was it a great weekend for you, it was a necessary weekend for you because we haven't decided what our NFL pick is yet, but we have decided what our consequences, quote unquote consequences, are for the college one, which again I'm going to ultimately come out and say it's weak. I'm going to call you out on this podcast.
I didn't agree to it. You're the one that proposed it.
Well, I want to do the hot chip challenge with the person losing, getting 10 seconds without milk, because I think that's a lot of time.
I have
without
no
milk.
desire
Yeah, it's
to
weak.
do that. Even when I was at the Naval Academy and the seniors used to say, they would challenge you to do things, and they challenged me to drink a whole bottle of Tabasco sauce.
We don't have enough time.
And I said, why?
We don't have enough time to go over why that is the least surprising, not least surprising, the least like wow story that you could possibly tell about your time at the Naval Academy. We will get to probably some of those on later podcasts, but
the point
all
is,
the things
I'm
you
not
did
going to
there,
do something to, especially these Paquito chips or whatever they are. Number one, I don't mind hot stuff, as you know.
Yeah.
I love it when I'm eating a meal, my nose is running, my brow is sweating, and it's great.
Makes you feel alive.
I don't want that times 100 from eating the chip, and I certainly don't want the back end effect.
Chicken.
I kind of like my body the way it is.
You're chicken shit. It's
Well,
okay. Don't
I
worry
shouldn't
about it.
say that.
You're chicken. Don't worry about it. By the way, yeah, you wouldn't eat a whole thing or you wouldn't drink a whole thing of Tabasco sauce at the Naval Academy, but you'll slap us a commanding officer in the face with some cake and then run back to your room.
It's called a wild man.
Yeah. Well,
Damn
again,
straight.
that story is worth telling at some point.
Nah.
Not right now, though. Keep them coming back asking more.
So you're just trying to divert off the fact that I was 4-0 in the NFL, including your little head-to-head,
Yeah.
dumping on Blondie.
You were sweating that though. Don't tell me you weren't. We were sitting watching it together. You were sweating it.
I wasn't sweating
Especially
any
with
of
the way CJ Stroud was playing.
them.
I
I
wish he
wasn't
used his legs
sweating
more.
any of them.
Yeah. But yeah, so you went 4-0, I went 3-1, which means our NFL picks are now me at 11-8, which is a really good record. But you at 8-5, you have a better winning percentage right now. So I have you at 61.5%. I think that math is correct.
Okay.
And me at 57.8%. So
You play to win the game.
yeah, no, it was.
And you're going to be thankful. Well, we haven't decided this one yet.
No, we haven't decided NFL, but college we decided that you're gonna owe me Taco Bell when I end up winning that.
Then you have the level of spice that you want. You can go hot. You can go fire.
It's just not as it's
or
not
you
as
can
fun.
go Diablo.
It's not as fun as like a challenge where like both of us are doing it, or like the other person is getting like real consequences.
Listen, I've seen you
Like-
struggle through eating hot stuff and
Me?
and doing just that, rubbing your eyes when you've got.
Okay,
hot-
no, that was when I was my youth, my young
My
when I was a
youth.
young teen, young boy.
Yeah, okay.
Learning that was the blazing challenge. That's another. Fun
And that's
story
not
for
even
another
that
day.
hot.
When you put it in your eye, it is.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I was more of a reaction because your body was telling you I can't do anymore.
No, that's not true. I was one wing away from winning that challenge.
Yeah.
One wing
Go
away.
ahead.
The problem is we had our the quote unquote funny uncle with us who made me laugh and gag on one of the wings. But yeah, no. So that'll be good.
Oh, by the way, we should talk. You're right. In the Jaguar Texan game, it wasn't that I was sweating it, but
You were. Don't lie.
Amendola needed one more hair on his leg to knock the 59-yarder, and he doinks it off the crossbar right dead center. If he had just one more rotation, it would have been that would have tied the game, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will say this. I am a little tired of NFL coaches playing scared. I want to throw it out there because you reminded me of that. Between D'Amico Ryan not letting C.J. Stroud go for it at that point, because in
It's
my
4th and
opinion,
12.
no, it was 4th and 7 on that one.
Okay, 7. I thought it was 12.
In my opinion, I'd rather put the arm at the faith in the arm of C.J. Stroud instead of the leg of Amendola, who again to that point
was on the couch
was
2 weeks ago.
on the couch 2 weeks ago, 0-4 in his career from 50 or more yards,
Yeah.
and now he's 0-5, and he missed one earlier. Granted, yes, it was literally a very small hair away from going in, and sure, like when he first kicked it, I was like, no, yes, and then of course it hit the up bar. I mean, not the up bar, the
crossbar.
crossbar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was
a great
definitely
effort.
disheartening for me, but I would still rather choose to put my faith in the arm of C.J. Stroud. And then the Bills game,
That's where, as a coach, though, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
I'd rather go out swinging.
Yeah.
That's just me, I guess, as a
But
coach. Like
Putting a guy who was on the couch 2 weeks ago to kick a 59-yard field goal is still
no,
swinging.
it's not. No, it's not.
Sure
It's not.
it is.
It's not swinging your best. It's not. That's like having Mark McGuire and me as like a pinch hitter and choosing me. Like Nick might get some wood on the ball. It might happen. Like no, it's not.
No, it wouldn't.
No,
No,
not
it
at
wouldn't.
all.
I've watched you swing a bat.
Yeah, or fine. We'll put you there. You hit a triple off of Cal Ripken, right? I know Cal Ripken now because of that. But
That's
like,
right.
again, it's like picking Mark McGuire or you and going with you. He hit a triple off of Cal. He could do it.
Yeah.
No, he can't.
Yeah.
Like no. So
Put
like,
Goodwood on a bat.
so again, it's not the best decision. And then again, same thing with the Bills. Like you had the ball in regulation with 20 seconds left. Josh Allen, who was supposed to be top 3 quarterback in the NFL, at your helm with a timeout, played out. But you take a knee.
Yeah.
You take a knee.
I don't know. I think
chicken shit.
that's
Just call it
probably
what it is.
shade from last week going into the first half against Denver, I think it was. Yeah. And Josh Allen throws a pick that gives Denver an opportunity to kick a field goal. So
Scared
yeah.
money don't make money, right? That's what they say. This was scared coaching. In
no
my
money,
opinion,
no
but-
problems. That's what they say too.
Yeah. So going to the other ones, we both won Bills Eagles. Now we bring it to that. It was 3.5.
Yeah.
Luckily,
Thanks for the
yeah.
overtime.
Luckily they don't kick field goals in overtime or extra points in overtime. I hit Josh Allen over a half an interception. I wish he didn't throw when he did.
Yeah.
Because that hurt. You had Giants plus 3.5 versus Patriots.
Yeah.
Again, Giants could look at it whatever they want.
Rocking
Good
chair,
for you.
man.
Yeah, it was a win for you. Yeah. And then we both hit the Chiefs minus 9.5 over the Raiders, which again looks scary at first. But yeah, so picks are what they are. It was good. I mean, it was a good week for both of us. You just caught the edge because of my our one head to head. So and you needed that.
Your hatred for Trevor Lawrence.
You can't even say that's hatred. I had faith in the Texans,
No.
which I actually think had the better statistics, they just gave up the bigger plays, especially to Calvin Ridley in the second half.
I can say hatred. I've heard you off mic.
Actually, I literally just
People who
admitted
listen-
today. I literally just admitted to.
Yeah.
That's not why I chose them. I didn't choose them because of my hatred for that. That's
No,
what I
you
meant.
do like
But I
CJ.
did just admit it to hating.
And Dalton Schultz is on the Texans too, so
I actually like Schultz. Yeah, I miss. I don't. To say I miss him would be wrong because Fergie's done such a great job as tight end for the Cowboys. But having him would be interesting. Although Schoonmaker's made some plays here and there,
Yeah.
so give the Rook some chance. And of course, Henry Shot's been hurt all year, but yeah. Let's go to college football, I guess, since we kind of skipped over that. But let's go to college football. We can start with our picks there since we're on the picks.
Okay.
It was a good weekend for you again, going 2-1 with Texas minus 14 over Texas Tech.
I could have given 49 in this game and still won.
Yeah, it was not a good game that I thought. Michigan squeaking out a win over Ohio State, minus
please.
3.5 at the Big House.
Hail to the.
Which I have some thoughts. We'll circle back. I went 2-2. I actually hate taking unders, but my unders have been spot on this year.
Yeah.
The 26.5 under that I took over the Iowa, like
you were sweating.
I was sweating that one because it was 10-10, and of course, the worst thing possible was overtime.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Iowa pulls it out of their ass, that pick, and then, of course, sets up the field goal for a kicker, by the way, who had not kicked a field goal in his collegiate career. Never kicked a field goal.
Yep.
Makes the game-winning one.
He drilled it.
Unbelievable. So, yeah, I got that one. We both lost Navy, plus 18.5.
We don't need to go into that one any further.
No, that was brutal. I'm going to blame you for it, though. Because
Okay.
I don't give up the ship. You gave up the ship and then tried to come back on. So
No, I told you I don't pick them as an insurance thing. I don't want to jinx them.
Right.
I don't want, and look what happened. I got back on,
Well,
like you
you-
said. And
yeah,
so
you gave
I'll
up the
take the
ship.
blame for it.
you should have just
100%
you should have let the true admiral, which is me,
Oh, hello.
keep on going.
Hello.
And then I got the OSU money line wrong.
Touchdown,
Which
Lamar Jackson.
if I wasn't a man, like if I was somebody weaker than that, like maybe you, I would have taken the points. But I took the money line, and that kind of hurt. Actually, I don't even think they covered the points, right? No, because
Who,
it was
Navy?
Michigan. I think they won by 6, right?
Michigan won outright, yeah. And,
Yeah.
and covered.
Yeah, so never mind. It wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there that it shows money line because I'm not afraid of it. But you would have won either way.
You were,
But,
like you were at the cookie table. You ate too many.
yeah, no, it was. But it does bring our picks. It does bring you closer. I'm still leading in college. I'm 8-8, so perfect 500. That's exactly what I said. Perfect 500. You're 5-6-1. That tie might come back to bite me in the ass, or you, because it is based on winning percentage.
It's gonna bite somebody.
Yeah, I just realized that. Yeah, or you. I said like a big like, oh, I got him. But no, yeah, that tie is going to be a real bitch towards the end of the year, which we're almost at. I don't know how we're going to do bowls and stuff, but we'll figure that out we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I'll let you open up. Do you have any fun college notes that you want to toss in there?
I had some. First of all, the end of the Auburn-Alabama game was nuts. We were watching that game, and Auburn had the game in hand, winning it outright. They went from being up 4 to losing by 9 in about 40 seconds.
Yeah.
And that is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Off the muff punt, then the quick score, and then another score. But and how they left that guy so wide open in the corner of the end zone. You want to talk about playing chicken shit?
Yeah.
The DC for Auburn rushed 2
Yeah.
at Milrose, right? That's his name.
Milrow, I think.
Milrow.
I called him Milrose.
Not Reynolds.
No, it's not Reynolds. Yeah, you were way off on that one.
But they rushed 2 at this kid, giving him all day to throw. And then if that's the case, you should have all these people in the defensive backfield. How in the world do they leave this guy open in the corner?
I don't think I will say this because the one Jalen Hurts touchdown throw today was very reminiscent of it. I don't think they left him open. It was just a really good throw and catch. Like you got to give some.
Yeah, I
credit
don't
to
think
them.
they left him standing there, but they
Yeah.
let him get open. You know, they didn't stay close enough to him, and it was only at that point it was 1-on-1. It was a man-to-man situation when there has to be plenty of defensive backs back there to do at least 2 on him.
That's the fair point. Yeah, since you're only rushing 2.
Ridiculous. And then
Yeah.
Georgia.
Where you
Of course,
going?
this is Georgia keeps winning and should remain at number one. Although I did see an opinion out there that Michigan should now be at number one after beating Ohio State. I'm gonna put a slight modification to Forrest Gump and just say "stupid is as stupid says."
Well, hold on.
Not stupid does.
Hold on. What do you mean stupid is stupid does?
Yeah,
You were here. You were just here on Friday,
yeah,
and we talked about Florida State getting jumped,
yeah.
and you were okay with that.
No,
Because it's
I
not-
wasn't okay with it. What I said was the committee probably was
Check
anticipating
the
the fact that Florida State's going to drop.
Challenge.
I didn't. Wasn't
Check the tape.
not at all.
Check the
Not at
tape.
all. Check it.
Oh man,
You
you
can
were
eat that.
okay
you can eat
with
that
it.
spicy chip afterwards.
You were okay with
too.
it. You're also okay with Georgia jumping Ohio State when they did because the records and all that. They were champs last year, undefeated.
But my initial premise still stands. Georgia hasn't lost, so why would they lose the number one to anybody?
Who has the most impressive win on the season at this point, in your opinion?
Georgia has the most impressive last 39 wins, I think, or 40 by this point.
Because you can't. It's not the same team. It's not the same team as last year. So saying
I know
that
it's
this is
not.
the team.
I know
So
it's
right. So
not.
you can't judge them based on last year. You
Right.
can't judge them based on the year before.
And I'm not. I'm
Who
just saying.
has the
I'm
most
just saying.
impressive
Nobody
win?
has beaten them
Who has
Nobody
the most
has beaten
impressive win this year? Nobody's beaten Michigan this year.
this year.
Well, again,
Yeah.
it's this year. though.
Nobody has beaten.
It's not the 2018
So just because-
to 2023 national
Michigan-
champions.
Michigan
it's the
beat the
2023.
overrated Ohio State Buckeyes and that quasi overrated wide receiver that you love so much.
Dude, he's
Just
not,
because they, I'm joking on that one.
oh,
Just
man.
because they-
Maserati Marv and I are about to go all sorts of wild on you. That is just insane.
But just
take.
first of all, and Ohio State in general, especially when it comes to playing Michigan, is overrated because Day has lost the last 4 or 5 games.
Yeah,
against Michigan?
you're bleeding into my rant in about 5 seconds, but I'll
So-
let you go for it because I will.
So Michigan's win over Ohio State wasn't all that impressive. It was a good win, but until you play Georgia and beat Georgia, I don't want to hear from anybody. I don't want to hear any of them.
Yeah, I would still say that Michigan has the most impressive win from this season so far, beating Ohio State. I think those are two of the top teams in the country in college football. I got to call out Joel Klatt for saying that no matter who lost that game, there was no way for either of them to get, whoever lost, to get back in.
Yeah.
We went over this extensively. There's a way, I think they're going to fall down to somewhere 5-6, probably 6 below Washington and Florida State. But if Florida State and Washington both lose their respective conference champions, I don't think Oregon's a better team than Ohio State, and they lost to Washington. So now the committee's like, well, and again, it's when you lose too, right?
Yeah.
So Oregon could very well jump them, but I don't think they have the resume to jump Ohio State. Louisville just lost again.
So wait a minute. Just stick with that one for a second. If Oregon beats Washington in the
Yeah.
Pac-12 championship, Oregon will be 11-1,
Yep,
having lost to
Washington
Washington during the regular
on
season.
the regular season.
So they've redeemed that loss to the same
Sure.
team, but in a championship game
Sure.
at the end of the season.
Sure.
And and I know you're not supposed to think this way, but the one caveat that Oregon will have with them is Bo Nix. He probably is the leading Heisman Trophy winner.
Jaden Daniels from LSU.
Those two are like neck and neck, but Bo Nix
Should be Maserati Marv.
and even if you look, I don't
there.
disagree with you there, but even if you look at Daniels and Bo Nix numbers, they're almost identical. And I'm telling you, the NCAA just wants to give this to Bo Nix for some reason because his story.
He's the
you know.
golden boy,
Yeah.
Which he's also a transfer, by the way.
Right.
Uh,
So my point is, if Oregon goes 11-1, redeems the one loss they've had by beating Washington in the biggest game of the year for either one of them, and Washington would be ranked 3rd at that point.
Washington will probably be ranked 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a huge win for an Oregon team that's ranked 10th, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Oregon will be ranked 7, probably behind Ohio State.
Oh, because Ohio State's lost at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I just think that combination would have Oregon in at that point.
Okay, that's fair. But then again, I was saying if Florida State loses to Louisville, who just lost to Kentucky, so now they're a 2-loss team. Louisville's not getting into the postseason.
No.
I think Florida State will be knocked out of the postseason for losing to Louisville. Then you have Bama, who will have lost. Assuming Bama loses to Georgia, you'll have them lose, you're not going to have them in. So your teams are going to be Georgia. I think Michigan is going to wipe the floor with Iowa. If you want to pick the Pac-12 winner, sure. And then that fourth spot is not going to the ACC champ. I guess your argument could be Texas at that point.
What about the Pac-12 loser? Because if it is Washington, they'd both be 11-1, both having lost to each other.
It's not. You can't lose your conference championship game and then appear in the.
Oh, I disagree with that.
Well, I was going to say there's one exception to the rule, and that being the SEC.
Yeah.
The SEC would be the one exception to that rule, but I think everybody else, that rule is a very strict application to it. I don't think you can lose their conference championship game and then appear in. Again, unless you were built like a Georgia, you won the last 3 years, whatever. But we don't have.
So what happens when Iowa beats Michigan in the Big Ten championship?
It's not going to happen, but Iowa's not going to be in it because they're also already a 2-loss team. So yeah, I mean that would create chaos. It would, because then all of a sudden, hypothetically, if you have, so I'm going to give you what I think is going to happen. I think Georgia's going to win the SEC championship game. I think Michigan's going to win the Big Ten. I think Louisville, Florida State just looked like a different team against Florida without, I forget the name of him, the starting quarterback who's out for the year. And I do think Oregon does get a little revenge. So if somehow Iowa is able to beat Michigan, according to my opinion or what I think is going to happen, that'd be insane because I don't know what they would do. I don't know. Texas would have if Texas wins the Big 12, they have a legit argument of getting in as being the only other team other than Georgia to beat Alabama, with only one loss to Oklahoma, which they would have avenged. Oh no, because never mind, they're playing Oklahoma State in the Big 12.
So there's something worth mentioning too, is that Arch Manning made his debut with Texas this week.
You're just jumping away from we're not even done with our conversation. You're talking about Arch Manning.
I thought we spent time on it.
You can't just stop mid-conversation.
Sure, it's called a pivot.
That's a hard pivot. That wasn't just a pivot. That was a hard pivot. It was like, all right, we're done with this. See you later.
Because
we're talking about championship weekend.
Go pivot, ball fake.
All right, fine. We'll talk Arch Manning. Sure, we're done. Cool.
No, I was just saying.
Forget about the Sun Orioles. Forget about everything else. We're done.
You were focusing on Texas. I just wanted to throw it in there. It's not relevant to anything we're talking about.
He played like 5 snaps. You want to talk about Arch Manning when we have a whole bunch of championship weekend games we can discuss, and then we'll have to pick those games. And then when we can focus towards Army Navy, you want to talk about Arch? No, let's talk about Arch Manning. Go ahead.
I'm
please.
done.
I'm waiting.
I'm done. Just throwing it in.
You're just throwing in Arch Manning. Cool.
Yeah, now I'm throwing him
in
out.
case you missed it, Arch Manning played this weekend.
Oh, why are you spending so much time on Arch Manning? Let's go. We were talking about other things.
So you derailed it though, but it'll be interesting. Championship weekend is going to be a lot of fun, a lot to look forward to, and depending on what the college football playoff rankings say, which we'll address on our Friday episode, there could be a lot of chaos. Do you want to talk about Arch Manning now, or is there anything else?
No, that's good. I just wanted to mention it.
All right, I have one thing to say, or 2 things more to say about college football. I want to get your take on it.
Okay.
I think we jinxed Air Force.
Oh my God, they had fallen off.
I just want to throw out Air Force was 8-0.
Yeah.
We were Dennis Green here. You want to crown their ass? Crown them. We were crowning them. Since being 8-0 and losing to Army, they have lost every single game. Every single game.
Paper Tigers.
Yeah.
We got ripped up by Army. That was it.
That was, well, it doesn't bode well for us because Navy lost to them before that.
Yeah, but there's no transition property in
I agree with you. I agree. I'm just saying, but like, I wish that happened like a game earlier.
Yeah.
Like 7-0, lost to Navy, and then because then the Commander in Chief's trophy would be like.
You can throw it all out come time for Army Navy.
Yeah, which is a must win for both teams because they both need to be bowl eligible with a win. And the last thing I want to bring up is Houston. It was their first season in the Big 12. They've had moderate to great success in the AAC. I think they were AAC champions at least twice with their time in the conference. This was their first year in the Big 12. They went 4-8, and they fired their coach.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's always the coach's fault, not the administration for putting them up into the Big 12.
I think that's one of the craziest things ever is firing your coach after one season, especially when changing conferences. But then that brings me to one last thing is another coach firing. Indiana fired their head coach. They actually bought him out of his contract. He was owed $20 million. They were able to negotiate a buyout of $15.5 million. So, good for them.
Yeah.
But it does bring to this point that we can transition out of college football and out of football in general. I kind of wish jobs were like, college jobs or all jobs, I should say. I wish all jobs. I should rephrase that. I think all jobs should be like college and coaching jobs. You should have a buyout.
Yeah.
If your manager or like your company wants to get rid of you, you shouldn't be able to, like, I'll leave, but you got to buy me out for like X amount of dollars. I think that's just the best way to handle it.
Well, even
that. Go ahead.
Even the other side of that, and not to jump back into pro football, but I was talking to Ryan today. Tommy DeVito playing for the Giants the first couple of games because he was a non-rostered player originally, was getting like $14,000 a game,
not a lot,
or 40 maybe, some number there. But the moment he hits his third game on the roster, he jumps to the league minimum, which is like $450.
Yeah. So because
I would like that fourth time around in your job, and all of a sudden you get, what is that, 100, 200, 1,000% pay raise?
It is a lot. But no, so he was making the practice squad, whatever like the practice squad, I think maximum was, because he was the third quarterback.
Yeah.
But technically speaking, like to Ryan's point, he wasn't on the roster. So now that he is, he has to make the league minimum. It's because of the PA rules. It is fascinating though. But yeah, I'm gonna advocate for anybody out there who is going through either a tough time or job transition, that I'll fight for you and say that you should get a buyout.
Yeah,
like that's how it should be. Like whatever the negotiation, you signed essentially a lifetime contract, right? When you sign on with a company, you're like, the goal is to work there forever. So, all right, let's do this. Yeah. Buyout time. I'm just gonna say that.
Never gonna happen.
Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, all those guys, get ready.
Don't get Warren Buffett angry.
That is true. Yeah. Although he had a great quote about capitalism this week, but well, that's like, this is a sports podcast, so
he's my boss, so leave him alone.
Yeah. Other sports context before we get to the NBA tournament, because I want to address that. We're actually going to talk about basketball for once. Shocking, because I think it deserves a little focus. So I first want to address the Angel Reese situation in college.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I think this is a microcosm of what we're going to be seeing in college sports going forward. I don't know what the situation is there.
Yeah.
But there's clearly something. And she was a player that was made very famous from her moments in the tournament last year.
But she had a good tournament.
She did. And it's going, Lamar Jackson, non-contact injury.
No, he's all right.
That was a lot of faking.
That was frustration because he didn't get the cut.
Maybe. That seemed an exaggeration. Anyway, yeah. Angel Reese, and she made a name for herself. She did a phenomenal job capitalizing on it. Like, I think athletes should in this time. I don't necessarily agree with the NIL laws, but I think since they're in place, athletes should be able to take advantage of them. But I think this is going to be the trend that we see. There's something going on where maybe she thinks she deserves more minutes because of the money she's drawing in, whatever this, I don't know. That's pure speculation, but it is going to be a problem. These athletes are going to start making professional level money. They're going to expect professional level treatment, but they're still kids developing, and the collegiate coaches they have in place are there for a reason. And again, whatever the situation is, I hope I'm wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong on this one, but I don't think I am. And we've already seen tension between her and Malkin and her tweets and all this fun stuff. So
I don't listen. I think from what I've seen and read, Malky's handling it properly. She's I think she said something along the lines like, "You guys don't know what goes on in locker rooms. Sometimes you have to let players go. Let them figure things out. Sometimes you have to step in as a coach. But either way, it's." If you guys don't know about it, it's none of your business, basically. That what happens in the locker room, and she said that Reese is still part of this team, and hopefully she'll be back on the sideline soon, kind of thing. But I do get the sense that, and again, I don't know. You mentioned you don't know the circumstances. None of us know all the circumstances, but to me, it reeks of somebody putting themselves ahead of the team.
Yeah,
like I'm bigger than the team, and once that happens in any organization, it's a problem.
Right.
Because, you've always been taught, certainly by me and others, nobody's bigger than the team.
No, I've had great coaches.
Not one person is better or bigger than the team.
Yeah. So. No, and like you said, that's been your message as a coach. That's been my message as a coach. That's been my message given to me by coaches in all sports, football, basketball, you name it. but I do think, and you kind of alluded to it, we don't know. It could be a multitude of things. Mulkey said we don't know what goes in the locker room. You and I have some idea what goes on in locker rooms being coaches. You know, you deal with the psychological aspects of everything between, you know, school situations and grades, relationships, you know, financial situations, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Like, who knows? Could be anything. But like you said, it does reek of one person putting themselves ahead, and I am going to just reiterate it. I do think this is unintended consequence of the NIL laws, and I do think we're going to see a lot more of, hey, I'm making this for this program. I should be having a say maybe in play calls, or I should have a play in practice situations.
It gives people, the NIL laws and the way these kids can make exorbitant amounts of money gives them a false sense of self-importance.
Yeah.
You know, and so listen, you know, from a coaching standpoint, there are times where you have to make hard decisions, whether it's, you've been privy to a couple cases where a player wasn't playing well in the first half and we needed a spark, so we put somebody else in, you know, and a lot of it's how you manage that quote unquote adversity.
Yeah.
And do you recognize your own downfalls and get into your teammate and help them survive and realize that you're still going to have a part in whatever happens for the next half?
Yeah.
Or do you sulk? You know, we've had a player that was sick during a holiday tournament, and a freshman or sophomore player came in and lit it up and ended up replacing basically in the starting lineup the person who was sick, but not in the overall context. The person who was sick, and actually handled the process right. They weren't happy about it, but eventually, again, realized what their overall role was on the team and became one of the best players that we always relied on, and most of the time was finishing the games. May not have started them, but most of the time was finishing them.
Yeah, no, it again, don't know what happens, but it is a situation worth monitoring and mentioning.
Yeah, for sure.
And of course, another note I want to touch upon in college basketball, I don't know if you saw this, and I don't know how it ended, but I did see a clip of this on social media. Robert Morris versus Jacksonville in men's college basketball. The benches cleared in a fight, so all-out fight, benches clear. Both benches were tossed from the game. Their whole bench tossed from the game.
Is that right?
So I don't know how the game ended. I didn't. That was my fault. I literally
So
saw
only
it.
the 10 players on the floor were left?
I don't know. I literally saw it right before we started this. I was like watching. I was looking on my phone before setting everything up, and I was just like, I gotta mention this. So I gotta do more, and maybe I'll give like an update on the next podcast. But
yeah,
that's gonna be one of the funniest things that's ever happened, because you're right. At that point, depending on what time it's if you're there the first part of the game, you're a coach that now all of a sudden has to start using timeouts very liberally, and also maybe should obviously use timeouts strategically, but in a different strategy than you normally would, right?
Yeah.
And if it happened towards the end of the game, like say you subbed out a star to give him a breather before like the 4-minute timeout, like or under 8, under
and
4,
now he's
whatever.
ejected.
And now he's ejected. Whoa.
Go with what you have.
What a big situation that could be.
Yeah.
Which, again, this is a memo for all athletes out there that may listen to us. Just stay on the bench. It's cool to have your teammates back, but it's not cool to draw the ire of the whole sports world and your coach and whatever for getting tossed from the game for something stupid like fighting.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not worth it.
No.
And I've known teammates that have broken hands because they got in a fight. It's not worth it. You know, like it's just got to be smarter than that. And then
there were a couple other things in women's basketball.
Go ahead.
You,
focus on.
You didn't talk about. I don't know if you saw them, but number one is that NC State pulled off another huge upset by knocking off number 3 Colorado in the women's ranks.
I did. I was going to save that for the next one because they were going to make my penthouse again. So
Oh,
go ahead. No, go ahead. That
I don't mean to steal it, but I was great. You know, obviously with Zoe Brooks being there, it was great. I tried to check in on her every now and then, and to see that they had that second big upset after having derailed UConn earlier. River Baldwin had 26 points against Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Zoe snuck in 7 points, 2 assists in the win, so she's contributing, which is great to see.
Yeah, she's looked good as a freshman so far there. Yeah. Again, we obviously have a connection with a lot of Jersey people. Yeah, no, we legitimately know her. No, but that's whenever you have a special connection, whether it is just, you know, momentarily coaching, you know, day to week, whatever, you know, obviously connection we have with that program. It's always fun to follow them and see how they're doing, and obviously wishing them all the luck and everything. That better not be a fumble by Keenan Allen.
I can't tell what's a catch anymore in the NFL anyway.
Yeah,
so.
there's so many. But no, so go ahead. Sorry, were there more girls?
Well, the other one, which is on the opposite end of that spectrum, is I don't know if you saw this, but UConn lost Fudd for the rest of the year.
I did.
Tore ACL and
unfortunately.
meniscus. So they continue to get bit by that leg injury bug.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. It's another person that I actually know, and I wish her all the best, because that is, her and Paige have been special talents since it feels like forever now, but 4 years ago when I got to meet both of them. I actually met Azzi when she was in a boot because her foot was hurt. So
yeah,
you hate seeing talent unable to not only do the thing that they love, but I hate to say the term because they're not wasting it, but it is wasted because they don't get to, again, do the thing they love and show their talent to the world. So it is unfortunate. I wish them all the best and hope that they recover. Obviously Paige is recovered, but I hope Azia is good to go next year, because I've been there twice with the ACL injury, and it's just not fun.
Sucks.
Recovery. It was a fumble. Damn it, Keenan. All right. On that note, let's go to the NBA. I have one thing to say on the NBA before getting to the tournament, the in-season tournament, and I kind of want to get your opinion on some things I have there. One shout out I want to say is pretty cool, and one thing that I think is important as we progress through the early part of the season. Obviously, Christmas is their big turnaround, big time to shine in the NBA. Although the NFL has started bleeding into that a little bit.
NFL's blood everywhere.
Yeah. Brooke Lopez, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Damian Lillard all scored 30 points the other night for the Bucks.
Wow.
Altogether,
hard to stop.
That's pretty good. When you have three players scoring 90 points for your team, especially in the NBA where, nowadays there's not a whole lot of defense or too much physicality you can do to stop that. That's impressive. Which is good to talk about the tournament now. If you don't know, by the way, what winning the in-season tournament means, it means that they win a cup.
Ooh.
But it also has financial
I'm sure
aspects
it does.
as well.
Yeah.
Each player on the winning team gets $500,000.
Wow.
I'm sure that's something. I'm sure the coach gets a piece of that too. I don't know what, but that is a nice incentive. So let's go over the teams eliminated already, and I want to ask you if any of these teams I tell you shocks you. So here are the teams
that they're eliminated.
They're eliminated.
Okay.
The Spurs, the Thunder, the Clippers, Mavs, Nuggets, Grizzlies, Trailblazers, Jazz, Bulls, Raptors, Wizards, and Pistons. Any of those teams surprise you at all?
Well, certainly the Clippers.
Really?
The Nuggets.
Okay.
And there's one other one, Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
Those three, and you kind of named them.
All Western teams too, by the way.
Yeah, those three teams surprised me. I said I thought the Spurs were going to win it all, but I was caught up in the Wembanyama and just in the he's going to be fun to watch, but it's too early to crown him king kind of thing.
Yeah, no, the Nuggets were the most surprising to me.
Yeah,
because they're obviously defending champs, having Jokic. It begs the question how much they actually value this tournament.
Right.
The defending champs, is it worth them,
grinding it out?
Right, for $500, an additional $500,000 for everybody.
They got their purse from the championship still.
Right, and I'm sure the end of the bench guy is probably I could use an extra $500,000, but Jokic is let me get through these 82 games and then go to my horses back home, because that's what he does. He actually has that horse back home. And then we have two teams that have already clinched a spot in the bracket round: Pacers and the Lakers. Both are 4-0 so far in the tournament. That surprise you at all?
The Lakers certainly have the talent, both old and young, that they should, if they're able to sacrifice some of the selfish aspect of that are often on those kind of, with Westbrook and LeBron and Davis.
Right.
How many times can you cut the basketball up in a pro setting? But if they play unselfishly together,
What did you say? Westbrook for the
Yeah.
Lakers?
did I miss
Like
it?
Russell Westbrook?
Yeah.
He's on the Clippers now. By the way.
Oh, there you go. See,
Way to stay
I knew he
alive.
was in LA
I was like,
somewhere.
wait a minute. Whoa, yeah. No.
But same concept.
Yeah.
You got a lot of premier players there that can oftentimes get in the way of good things happening. So I'm surprised with them a little bit. But, with LeBron and his old age now, it's all relative.
Yeah.
He probably has a lot of gas in the tank right now. So hopefully that, to the opposite of Jokic, doesn't hurt him for later,
Yeah, I will say the one thing that's surprising, and I used to be a big LeBron guy. I will admit that. I used to be a big fan of his. But for various reasons over the years, he's just a guy that I choose not to root for anymore. But what he's been able to do in year 21, 22 now or something like that is amazing. He's still averaging 25 points a game.
He's always been a physical specimen.
Yeah.
He's a beast, but we don't need to go there. There's so many things I just...
Yeah, no, I know. But, I mean, you don't have to like everybody.
No.
That is it. Like,
But you can recognize the talent.
Right, there's plenty of people out there that don't like Tiger Woods for many reasons, but, like... what
I didn't
he's
like
done for
Larry
the
Bird
game.
because I was a Magic Johnson guy.
Right, exactly. I mean, yeah, but you got to recognize how when greatness is here. So
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that needs recognition is how good he's been. And yeah, of course, that hurts a little bit more for you because obviously he broke one of your all-time
No, he
favorite
didn't.
scoring records last year.
Kareem's still the all-time leading scorer.
Delusional at best. And then here's some teams that are still alive: the Cavs, 76ers, Hawks, Bucks, who are 3-0 and can clinch their spot soon. The Knicks, the Heat, Hornets, Magic, Celtics, Nets, Suns, Pelicans, Rockets, Kings, Timberwolves, and Warriors. And the Warriors are actually on the cusp of being eliminated soon.
Good.
So, yeah, Draymond thing is atrocious. But the one thing I find fascinating about this, so try to remember if you can. I know I can understand, but try to remember all the teams I gave you. Thunder, one of the teams eliminated, number 2 in the West right now.
Yeah.
The Timberwolves, who are still alive but didn't clinch, still number 1 in the West right now.
Yeah, but keep in mind, this is single game elimination.
No, so right now it's like round.
You have to win your pool. kind
Yeah,
of thing.
so
But if you lose a game,
right.
you know what I'm saying? Every like in a series, the better team most
Yeah.
times is going to win.
It's just fascinating how they're doing this. Like there's some teams that are eliminated. Like the Nuggets are eliminated from the
And they're defending champions.
They're defending champions and they're number 4 in the West.
Yeah.
So the Lakers, who are clinched already, they're number 7 in the West right now.
Yeah.
Again, we're 20 games into the season, but it's still fascinating to see how much it means to certain teams versus how much it means to others. I think the Magic, I look at my notes again, the Magic are number 2, surprisingly, in the East right now. And they have been, actually, they're still in the hunt. They're still in the hunt right now. So,
But it's. I mean, it really shouldn't be a surprise to you, right? Because of all the years that you were involved in high school basketball, like early season, the holiday tournaments, the WOVM, whatever the thing happened to be going on during the holidays, different teams would win that, then would eventually come out and win states or something like that.
Sometimes those teams win it all. Like your St. John Vianney's, or your, back when I was younger, it was your CBAs. They'd win always, or St. Pat's, or
right. But early on in the season, some teams are going to be a little bit better than they'll probably be, and others will catch up to them, and that could be a matter of graduation. Like you lose some seniors that were key in terms of chemistry, so you're going to struggle a little bit early on. But once you get the replacement parts in there, well, here's Mother Tucker for a. How long is this one?
It's not that long.
42 yards. Okay.
You should nail it.
You should.
But that's. I mean, we're not going to do a list today. We're going to try to save lists for some. We're going to try to space them out. That way people won't get bored of them.
Yep.
I think that's a good idea. Our starting 5s, I should say. Although I flirted with the idea of changing my mind on that and going with Jersey starting 5 because the Dallas Cowboy Thanksgiving jerseys have me feeling a certain way. Those are so cool.
You would have had me grasping for spots because.
Well, you could have done more.
Yeah.
You could. It would have been all sports. Like for basketball, you got the old school Raptors purple jerseys that are really slick. The Supersonics jerseys, those are cool. Baseball, it's harder for me to pick. I mean, I think the Yankees are cool from a standpoint of being a fan and pinstripes, but
old school Arizona Diamondbacks.
yeah,
when they originally came in.
those are cool.
The teal and purple.
Yeah. again, we can go for days, but yeah, no, we're gonna save those for later. Maybe get some more when there's guests on. That way, it's a little different. I do want you to think more about that coach's rule number 1.
What do you want me to think about it?
Like how we institute that. Again, this isn't a one-man shop, man. This isn't outside the coach's box with Nick featuring Big D. It's a partnership. But no, it's okay if you
But
want.
what is it
You
you're
just
looking
told all
for?
our listeners that I'm the boss, which
No,
that is fair.
No.
I am.
no.
Hey,
I don't
hey,
understand what
hey,
you're looking for at a
don't-
coach's rule.
Neither do I.
Number one.
That's why we're shopping it. That's why we're like trying to figure it out. It's okay. I'm the boss.
That's like
Don't talk about
that's
the boss.
like
Hey,
trying to add something to thou
Hey.
shalt not kill. I mean, it's gospel truth.
well, it's not.
Coach is
You've been wrong a ton.
Rule number 1: coach is always
You've been
right.
wrong a ton. Do you want to look at our pick records?
I've been wrong as not to coach, but when
No,
I'm
you
coach,
told me in life you
coaching
always
my
coach.
team, coach is always right.
But what do you say to me?
What?
As your son, you're always my coach. What
Yeah.
you said to me, right?
Yeah.
But you've been wrong.
No, I haven't.
Listen, don't talk back to your
What's
boss.
rule number
Excuse
2?
me. Excuse me. Don't,
What's rule number 2?
Don't talk back.
What's
to your
rule
boss.
number
hey,
2?
Hey,
What's rule number
don't
2?
talk back. You're gonna get fired. You better watch it.
Please. You're gonna have to buy me out.
Nah, damn it! I did just bite me in the ass. Okay, so as always, on this day in 1997, the Lions' Barry Sanders becomes the NFL's second all-time leading rusher. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and follow across all platforms. If you're looking on YouTube, hit that subscribe button right here somewhere. Thank you.
Have a great week.